Right, we are hot. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to WHF on Sunday night. It's Division 1 tonight, and we're heading off to what looks like a very sunny Spa-Francorchamps. My name's Andy, and I'm joined by our very good friend, Mr. GB Sanderson, as we get to have a look round this wonderful track. GB, how are you doing? Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, mate, I'm stuck. I don't know whether the capture card actually worked there, but I'll. I've got no idea how to add you. It's not on the capture card, isn't on, mate. Give me a second. Video capture device. Add existing capture card. Okay. And it's adding it, but it's not showing in sources, so you can't hear you. Fortunately, my friend. So that is a disaster. What I'll do is I'll take it straight into the overlay. I can find it. There we go. Right, so we're in the overlay, GB, and we should be able to hear you now.
Let's see, am I here? Yes, I am. I've just heard myself and I've cringed at my own voice as always. But as we were saying before you could hear me, looking forward to this one. It is very good to have you back in the commentary box. We missed you last week at Qatar, which we eventually found out the race result as Cookie winning and extending his championship lead. And, well, now we're in Spa. Last European race of the season for Tier 1. Should be an interesting one, particularly if it's going to follow the pattern that Tier 2 did earlier in the season.
Yeah, well, it is good to be back, mate. It's been a heck of a day. I've had internet issues, PC issues, charging car issues, but we're back. We're here in time, and we've got cars out on the track as Billy and Penguin heads through Blanchemont down towards the infamous bus stop chicane to start a hot lap, GB, if you want to ride on board with him.
Yes, of course, let's ride along. I'm now trying to get on board with him, but here we are. Billy and Penguin down into the first corner, very tight right-hander at last source, and then on the power as quick as possible. That exit is absolutely crucial because it sets you up for this fantastic sequence of corners. Left through Eau Rouge, right up the hill, left at the top through Radion, and all the way down this flat-out right-hander and down the Kemmel straight. And we'll keep an eye on the time and see what sort of lap time Billy and Penguin sets through sets what? 30.3 the opening time there, of course going purple. And flicks it through Lecombe and then down at this little slight downhill section into the hairpin. And then around through towards turn 11. And so far he's keeping it clean. I won't say this is full out pushing from the Haas, but it's certainly a decent banker so far. Through Pouillon he goes. Very easy to lose the rear end through there or run it out wide, but keeping it within track limits. Then through the right-hander and then the second left-hander as we come towards the end of Sector 2. So wait and see what sort of lap time we got there. Yellow flags elsewhere on the track as drivers just try to find their own points on the circuit to set their own lap times. 1:14.1 so far as he comes through Sector 2. Now through the flat-out Blanchemont. Remember when this corner did not used to be flat out, but in modern day F1 cars they certainly are. Jaden Lomax goes quickest, but that is definitely a slow lap from the Williams, which will be beaten by the Haas of Billy and Penguin very shortly. Up to the line, opens the DRS, and goes quickest, a 42.4. Decent opening lap time there from the Haas.
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I've been seeing sometimes 30 flat and 112.5s going through sectors 1 and 2. on a few races I've commentated at Spa-Francorchamps so far this weekend. Be interesting to see if we can jump on board. I think Cookie, our championship leader then, he's just gone through La Source down the hill towards the small valley that is Eau Rouge, named so because of the river that runs through it, up through Radion then, onto the Camel Straight as per GB mentioning previously. I'm looking for a 30 flat. A Supply Raptor does a 40.7. It's a 29.9, so underneath that 30 flat into the next turn, then down this little hill towards Rivage. Rivage, the long, slow right-hander, into the corner with no name. Down the hill he goes. Doesn't use all the track on the left, but does on the right. And again, down towards Double Gauche, or what did you call it? Poulon?
Pouillon, I think it is.
Pouillon.
Yeah.
It's Double Gauche or Pouillon. Double Gauche, as in double left. Down the hill we go then, in the middle of Sector 2, onto the right and left-hander, where people tend to try and gather as much as they can of the curve. Then I'm looking for a 1:12.5. There it is, a 1:12.5. Good time this. Good this from Cookie. He's looking to be challenging Supply Raptor and Parallel Harry for a front row slot, as we'd expect from the championship leader as he heads down Blanchimont in towards the bus stop chicane. It's going to be an interesting race, I feel, this one, GB. We're going to see as he goes sideways in through the first turn of the chicane. Might have lost a little bit of time there, certainly a bit of traction, but gets a 1:40.6 to go quickest through that section of the track. Setting a provisional pole time. Good time that, Cookie.
Yeah, and his championship rival Cloud is now coming through the final corner as well. He's going to come up to the line. Can he go quicker? No, he can't. It's only third place at the moment for the Mercedes, a 40.8. Still a ridiculously fast lap time. But yeah, not quite on the pace of his championship rival at the moment, and has Raptor in between the two of them, who we also know Raptor very quick as well.
Yes, he is. Supply Raptor very quick indeed. I'm on board at the minute with the AlphaTauri division. Division currently sat in 12th place, hasn't set a time of 30.4, so a little bit off the pace of the Red Bull and Alpine out in front. But again, down he goes on this hill down towards Rivage. Plenty of overtaking opportunity for those that are brave enough to hang it around the outside of Rivage. Into that corner with no name again. Again, doesn't touch the curb on the left, but does hit it on the right. Uses all track available to him as he heads down towards Pouillon. Pouillon? Pouillon? Pouillon. Through the middle. Pouillon. Through the midst of Sector 2 yet again. Looking for maybe a 1:12.9, 1:13 perhaps at the split of Sector 2. Going to be a little bit slower. It's a 1:14 almost, a 1:13.998. So he's lost some time in Sector 2. Not quite as stuck to the road as some of the rivals out in front. And that means he's probably going to be round about, I would imagine, Billion Penguin. So probably set the mid 42s, early 42s perhaps. Depends how he takes this final chicane then. Pressing down towards the line, wing wide open, DRS, and it's a 1:42.3. So yeah, in just above Billion Penguin and Ultra Titan. Ghost Sniper says he's hyped to see what a Tier 1 race looks like. Well, you're going to get first-hand experience from myself and GP as we call this one, my friend. Hope you enjoy it. Be interested to see how we get on. I think we've got Ollie. Ollie's actually invalidated. There's a Haas. Is that Billion Penguin on another outlap? It is. There's an Alfa Romeo. Is that Ritzy?
I believe it will be, but he is invalid. There is the Alfa Romeo of Titan who's set a lap a minute or so ago that was going off P9. There's the Ferrari of JG who's currently on the lap, but his rear light is flashing, so he's either forgotten to turn on the ERS onto hot lap, or he is just setting a bank lap nice and early on, perhaps going for 2 runs. So that won't be an overly representative time. I'm hearing that Luxury is about to join us, which is very nice.
Excellent.
Getting him into the game.
Good stuff. We've got Codzilla then in one of the two McLarens heading down towards the bus stop. In he goes, gets there about the mid-35s, early 36s. Pedal to the metal then as they race towards the line. Looks like it's going to be a 42. 42.3 maybe. Oh, it's a 45.3. Where did that come from?
We are hearing as well that there is going to be a restart at the end of qualifying. Unfortunately, the bug that keeps on happening in a few leagues I've been in, actually, where they've set the safety car as on, but then when you've loaded in the lobby, the game has turned it off. Oh. And so we are going to be having a restart after qualifying, though. So quali will carry on as normal. It will set the grid for the race afterwards, which I suppose does mean drivers could arguably do an extra run if they wanted to, because they don't need to think about saving tyres for the race. But yeah, unfortunately, that glitch just meaning that we will have to do a little restart at the end of quali.
Well, one of the glitches I encountered earlier on today was that if you're low on fuel and you go back in the pit lane, you haven't got enough fuel to get up the little hill. And they had 7 cars stuck behind somebody else in the pit lane in qualification. So we had to restart after quali. We had a red flag situation and we redid qualification and nobody then got stuck in the pit lane, which was quite nice.
You would like to think the game at literally about a month and a half away from the end of its life cycle, you would love to think that it would be, 2.5 months away. You'd love to think that glitches like that wouldn't exist. But no, here we are.
Unfortunately, yeah, here we are. Right then, let's get back with some of our potential leaders then. So Supply Raptor, I believe, is just starting his second run. He's going up Radion. Hopefully that's the DRS wing. Yeah, the DRS wing does open. So we're looking now for a 29.9 at the end of this straight. What are we going to see? It's a 29.9, 800ths to the good against his a previous attempt in through. Oh, just about manages to keep it valid. Down there, down towards Rivage. Yet again we go. The long sweeping right-hander into the corner with no name as we head down the hill yet again into Pouillon. Have I got that right this time?
Absolutely. He is really pushing here, Raptor, as well.
He really is, yeah.
That set to one time, as it stands, would be enough to take him pole. He is about 0.5 of a second behind Cookie from the first runs. Cookie is on an outlap at the moment, so we'll have to keep an eye on him going forward. But yeah, Raptor at the moment, let's see what his sector 2's like. He's still up by the same margin. Didn't really gain much through sector 2. But as it stands, that will be just enough to put him on provisional pole with just over 5 minutes left in the session. He may even have enough time to get round and back into the pits and back out for a third run if the Alpine wants to. But coming into the bus stop chicane, let's see what Raptor can do. He's been up on his time through the entire lap. Will he be up as he crosses the line? Goes provisional pole, gains 1/10 of a second, 40.6, and the Alpine goes ahead of the Red Bull for the time being.
Yeah, that's a great lap from Supply Raptor. Managed to gain a little bit of time there where Cookie had slid through that first corner of the chicane. Supply Raptor went through it pretty smoothly. However, we've got now Cookie 200ths to the good through Sector 1, making his way down the hill towards Pouillon. See what he can do in then Sector 2. Again, we're looking for a 1:12.5 or a 1:12.4. A high 1:12.4 will mean that he's in position to try and take that pole position back off Supply Raptor.
And also seeing the Ferrari of Arrow has improved his time, gone up to 6th place, gained a few tenths of a second there. Cookie is down on his time at the moment, coming out of Sector 2, so he was up through the first sector. He's lost probably about 1/10 of a second through Sector 2. Can he gain that time back, or will he call it quits and go into the pits? Well, you can see the light on the back is not flashing on the Red Bull. He's still pushing. He knows that the final corner, no, never mind, into the pits he goes. So Cookie go for one more attempt, it seems.
Yeah, let's see what Arrow's up to then. Is Arrow pushing? No, Arrow's cruising through.
Arrow will be on his way back in.
Yeah.
Division is pushing at the moment.
Yeah, 5
Division in
tenths to go.
P9.
5 tenths to go.
Yeah, coming through turn 16, now through Blanchimont. Flat out left-hander, sort of a two-part corner. We've seen the likes of Verstappen do daring overtakes around the outside there. We'll wonder if we see any of those tonight, but for now, into the bus stop chicane comes the AlphaTauri. Back on the power, DRS open, up to the line. What will Division do? Goes P5. Very nicely done, Division. Gains over half a second there and puts himself on the third row of the grid.
We are seeing, though, here, GB, with this being the longest track on the calendar at 7 kilometres, we are seeing the gaps in the times. They're quite significant. We've got over a second between P1 and P5 at present. Arrow still coming in. Parallel Harry is about to start something. What about Charisma? Is Charisma pushing? No, Charisma's on an invalidated
invalid. Luxury has just started a lap himself. This will be his first lap of the session. So we'll keep an eye on him because Luxury, this season's been a bit of a surprise, I think it's fair to say, for the Mercedes. Last season he was the runner-up in Tier 1. He had about 10 second place finishes last season, just didn't quite get himself on the top step of the podium.
He's got to make this run count because this is his last, not only his first run, but it's his last run.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, it's been a bit of an underwhelming season for the Mercedes. Not all through his own fault, as Fly Raptor retires in the pit lane, so he will not be going again. He didn't have enough time to get back to the pits and then back out. But Luxury, we'll see what the Mercedes can do. His teammate currently on the second row of the grid on an outlap. And as he comes through Pouillon, he does have a little bit of traffic ahead of him, but hopefully they will get out of his way. They've got an opportunity to do it here. They've not really done it very well there.
Lord.
Yeah, I feel like the camera angle made that look closer than it perhaps was, but still not ideal for the Mercedes so far. He has a Ferrari up ahead of him. Hopefully that Ferrari's going to move out of the way. He does, as they come through. He might have gained some time from that, to be fair, for the off of the Ferrari into the bus stop chicane. Keeps it nice, hits that first apex brilliantly. I've seen a few people go deep there. Top 4.
5th.
P5, just outside, but only 300ths. Yeah, so very close there by the Mercedes. That will be the best attempt he can do. Paolo Harry is also retired in 4th place. The Alpine will not be improving. Neither will Division in the AlphaTauri.
So here's somebody who might be improving, though. We've got Jaden Lomax out in the Williams, currently sat in P7 with a 41.7. Let's see what that Sector 1 split is. He's down on his time by over 2.5 tenths. He is, however, he's got, looks like Billy and Penguin behind him. Now, are we going to inadvertently see Jaden Lomax give Billy and Penguin a huge tow through Sector 3? That could be something that we see in a moment. It might be to his detriment, Jaden, as he gives Billy and Penguin a tow. Let's see how this moves then as they go through Pouillon.
Cookie's invalidated. Cookie will not get pole position. Cookie is invalidated out of Sector 1. And as the checker flag falls, he will not be improving. This is a huge opportunity for Cloud.
It is. Only 1 tenth to the good is Billy and Penguin then. As Jaden Lomax just gets out of the way. Whereabouts is Cloud on track? Cloud's at the beginning of Sector 2, isn't he?
Just started Sector 2 and he is up. He is up on his time at the moment. I'm trying to see who the next person to cross the line will be. It will be Billion. Arrow has stayed P8. That is his session run. Billy and Penguin will be next up to the line. Out the final corner, across the line, stays P9. Does improve slightly, but not enough to gain a position.
Cloud's gone. Cloud has invalidated. Could have given his teammate Luxury a drag, but he's not going to. Luxury isn't going to improve. JG isn't going to improve. Ollie J. What's Ollie J up to? A 10th out at the moment. Needs a big Sector 2. He's got 2 Mercedes in the way.
Cookie would have gone pole if he didn't invalidate. Ritzy goes P4. Very nice lap from him. But Cookie crossed the line with a 40.5. That is gutting for the Red Bull. He misses out on the 2 extra points as well.
Yes, he does. Ollie J is going to need a big Sector 3 if he's going to improve and move up. At the minute, he'd probably sat P15 and relegate Godzilla down to P16, but he needs a huge Sector 3 and a big bus stop.
Yes, Stan's just gone P10 as well, so Ollie down to P17. He needs to improve here. And he goes P15. It is a slight improvement of 1.5 tenths, but it's not enough to get him above that P15 we were on about a moment ago. And I believe Luxury has invalidated on his lap. We saw his effort earlier, so that is all she wrote. Supply Raptor with his first pole position of the season.
Yeah, great lap that from Supply Raptor, and unfortunate for Cookie and for Cloud, in fact, and for Luxury, who all invalidated on that final run. Interesting layout and start for our race then. As Supply Raptor in the Alpine claims the pole position. Joining them on the front row is Cookie in the Red Bull. Second row is going to be Cloud in the Mercedes and an Alfa Romeo. It's BRL Ritzy joining him on the second row. Yeah. That's a good result for him as well. GB.
Ritzy did fantastic there for the Red Bull. For the Alfa Romeo, really decent qualifying from him. I believe that is his best of the almost best of the season. He's had 2 P3s in the opening 2 rounds, but then since then hasn't really been trying, I think, in qualifying, to be honest, because he's been at the back of the grid both times.
Well, there you go. So Ritzy in 4th. It's Parallel Harry in 5th in the Alpine, the Mercedes of Luxury in 6th. Ultra Titan in the Alfa Romeo 7th, with Jason Gordon in the Ferrari 8th. Division in the AlphaTauri 9th. 10th is taken by Stan in the Aston Martin. The Williams of Jane Lomax in P11. Arrow in the Ferrari P12. The McLaren of Skifi 13, with Mallard in the Aston Martin 14. 15th is Ollie J in that Red Bull, with Billy and Penguin in the Haas, not improving too much, down in 16th. Godzilla in the McLaren P17th, and then it's Charisma bringing it up the rear in the AlphaTauri, over 2 seconds behind our pole time. Arrow, welcome in, subscribe for 28 months on a 2-month streak. We're restarting because safety car was off. Yep, got it, no worries, bruv. No problem at all. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is your grid. Make sure, if you need to, you take a snapshot of that grid. So that we, you got it, yeah? Cool. Lovely, lovely stuff. Well, in that case, what I'll do is I'll go back to...
we can show off Arrow's fancy new advert as well.
We can do the advert. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Here's a word from one of our sponsors.
If you're looking for signed Formula 1 memorabilia, then look no further than F1Collectors.com. If you want signed memorabilia from the greats like Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, and you guessed it, 3-time world champion Max Verstappen, then head to the bio and find the link to F1Collectors.com.
Seamless. We're back in, mate. We're back in.
Oh, there we go. Now we can hear.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, yes, we do have a restart happening because of a safety car glitch. So I'm just going to quit to the main menu so I can get myself back in a second. Exciting times then here at WHF as we are going round Spa-Francorchamps this evening. We've had a good qualification session where the Alpine of Supply Raptor sits on that pole position with the championship leader Cookie joining him on the front row. We will be getting back in very shortly. In the meantime, GB, talk me about any particular surprises you've got from that qualification session, sir.
There weren't as many as I was expecting there. I think probably the top 6 or 7 you would have expected to be around there. Maybe not Cookie being off, not on the on pole position because we are so used to that over the past couple of seasons. But he's still right up there in P2. We've seen Parallel Harry has got fantastic qualifying pace this season. He's had so many top 5 starts this season. In fact, the only time this season he hasn't been in the top 5 was at Qatar. So he has had a really strong season in terms of his qualifying pace. Ultra Titan we always know is quick as well. So at the front it was very much as you'd expect. I think the only perhaps shock there was Ollie being down in P15.
Yeah.
And Billy and Penguin in P16, because those two are generally very consistent, and I would not have expected them sharing the penultimate row on the grid.
Yeah, for sure, and I guess what that means as well for the two guys out in front, up towards the higher echelons of the starting grid in Cookie and Ritzy, there's a lack of teammate support. There's not going to be an opportunity for teammates to work together now to drive that, the assistance and performance of their teammates through the first stint in this race. Be interesting to see what kind of strategies people have. Of course, yes, we've got a restart, so from a tyre strategy point of view, there are going to be some extra softs kicking around. Ghost Sniper says, is that the same glitch as yesterday's race? Is that what happened yesterday as well,
Not
GB?
quite. This one was just the safety car had sort of switched itself off, whereas yesterday the safety car decided as the race started it was going to come out immediately. And it did it on the first lobby, which we assumed was because the formation lap was left on.
Yeah.
So we restarted it, thinking that it was glitched because of the formation lap, and then it did it again, despite there being no formation laps. So we just had to run with it in the end, and we had a rolling start on, I think it was lap 4 we got going in the end. So it was a bit anticlimactic. Hopefully that doesn't happen here today, because there's only 22 laps at Spa. So if the safety car came out straight away, we would lose about 15-20% of the race. But yeah, we're going to wait and see. We are also hearing that the weather is going to be... we're going to try and mimic the weather of what it should have been, as we did yesterday at Brazil, where it was dry to wet to dry. That is what the forecast was going to be for Spa. We got sent a picture of what it was going to be in the results chart, and it was starting off sort of overcast, and then about 2/3 of the race in, it was going to rain, and then there was going to be sun, like literally bright sun by the end of it. Right. The only problem with this game is that it only gives you 3 weather slots when you try and set the weather. So I'm not entirely sure how they're going to do it, but it's going to happen somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get it, and I can see the weather changing in the lobby as we speak. Safety car and virtual safety car saved some guys' races yesterday, says Ghost Sniper. Invariable, my friend. If any track safety cars save people races, this is the track that it happens at. I've already commentated on 2 races this weekend at this track, and safety cars have been absolutely vital. Not to mention a couple of collisions going down Blanchemont on penultimate laps, but those are other things to speak of at other times. I'm hoping that we get a really good, clean race tonight with the usual championship protagonists playing out the good racing that we've seen earlier on in the season, GB.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen some really good races this season. I mean, my mind immediately goes back to Silverstone. Yes, perhaps not the cleanest of races, but it was certainly one of the most entertaining races that we've had all season. Imola as well was just pure chaos when the rain came down there at the end. So that was a good one. We've had a few really good races so far this season. Hopefully that will continue tonight. And well, it certainly has the recipe for it, with 3 incredibly quick drivers in the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's just have a quick reminder then, everybody. I'm not too sure whether we're going to be able to hear your voice here, GB. So just bear with me while we run through the track yet again. We are going to be able to hear you this time.
No,
it does have your name, but we are going to have to move the track map up a slot. So yeah, here we go then. It's 7 kilometers, 19 turns, 2 DRS zones, with some specifically high elevation changes as we move up through the Kemmel Straight towards turns 5, 6, and 7. We then come back down the hill through the Varge and the corner with no name as we go all the way back down again through Sector 2 into Sector 3 for that long left repetitive turn through Blanchemont towards the bus stop chicane. I've been struggling with that one all weekend as well, quite frankly. Bus stop chicane is something that I should have tattooed on the inside of my eyeballs so I read it correctly. But yes, GB, what are your thoughts on this track? Anything in particular you're looking forward to?
Well, I absolutely love this circuit. It may not be the absolute strongest for me to drive, but it is so nice to drive this circuit. The elevation change, it's over 100 meters of elevation on this circuit. It is the biggest of any track on the calendar until that insane new circuit at Qiddiya gets released. I've heard it's going to be incredible. Hashtag ad, hashtag please pay me Saudi Arabia. Yeah, that circuit, this circuit, sorry, it is a classic, isn't it? And every driver loves it, even if it's not their strongest circuit. And you know, it always seems to provide some sort of drama, whether it's someone losing it at the top of Radion or whether it's just back and forward action. It is fantastic, and hopefully we get more of the same today. I'm hearing, sadly, because the rain was only going to be one slot in the forecast out of the 7, it's not going to be included in it because by adapting the forecast to make it rain at some point, it would have made it rain for more than the original race we would have had. Right. So we are going light cloud, overcast, dry is going to be the weather. So unfortunately that part of the race is taken out, but it should still be very entertaining. I understand why it's been done, because obviously, if it's only going to be around for one of the 7 sections in the weather forecast on the lobby before, having it for one of 3 is going to cause a lot more rain than there would have been.
Get it raining, GB. Let's have an absolute downpour. You know those intermediate tyres?
Let's have another Imola.
35 litres of water per second on those intermediate tyres. That was a stat I was looking forward to giving out later on tonight. But hey, if we're going to have dry weather, we'll have dry weather. As you can see, it is starting off very, very sunny. There's a distinct lack of crowds hanging out over the top of the paddock. They must all be in the stands cheering on their favourite drivers, as I'm sure they're all putting on their setups, hopefully, and making sure that their strategy for the race is in line with their teammate. And GB, over to you, my friend. You take this thing away. Let's go.
Yeah, we are underway here at Spa-Francorchamps for round 8 of Tier 1, and it's a brilliant start by Cookie as he tries to launch it round the outside of the Alpine through Turn 1. He holds him off for the time being, but they're going to go side by side almost as they head down towards Eau Rouge. Cookie slots in behind. Cloud holds on to third in the background. Further back, we're seeing moves by Ollie. He's got himself up into 14th, and we're going to go 3 wide down the Kemmel Straight. Raptor, Cookie, Cloud, all alongside each other. Is it going to be 4 wide as Ritzy and Parallel Harry look to get involved? Not quite, but Raptor has dropped from 1st to 4th in that little sequence there down the Kemmel Straight. Cookie leads, Cloud in 2nd, Ritzy all the way up to 3rd, and the 2 Alpines squabbling over P4 at the moment as Cloud sends it down the inside of Cookie, gets himself up into the lead of this race. And I think we've had more overtakes in this first sector alone than we had in most of the last race.
It's a great start from Cloud. Not so great from Supply Raptor, but Cloud making the soft tyres sing early doors already. 6/10 down the road from Cookie. 7/10 now, edging towards 8/10. But it's going to be close in between Ritzy and Supply Raptor, with Parallel Harry hanging on for dear life, 5/10 back. Ultra Titan on the hard tyre, first of our hard tyre runners. He'll be looking to try and take those bad boys as long as he possibly can. How long are the soft tyres going to last out here, GB?
I think softs can roughly go about 7 laps, I want to say, around here. I'm trying to remember back to my own race, because I know I used a set of softs in that, but I believe it's about 6 or 7 laps around this track. It's worth noting that Ultra Titan is on those hards, but he has 2 soft tyre runners of Stan and Division right behind him now. Stan and Division, very good friends of each other as well, so they'll probably be looking to work together to get past the Alfa Romeo. It has been a nightmare start, though, once again this season. His luck does not change. Luxury at the back of the pack in the pit lane, and he has retired. I'm assuming he got some damage that he has decided is not worth repairing, but we're seeing a battle for the lead here down the Kemmel Straight. They're going to go 3 wide again. They're thinking of it. Ritzy chopping and changing, try and get past the Red Bull. Cloud holds on for the time being. Cookie in second, and Ritzy remains in third. Here in there, Luxury forgot his setup. That's the reason for him DNFing. He struggled on the first lap. I saw he dropped from P6 all the way down to P12. And Spa is definitely a circuit you do not want to forget your setup around here. It is very difficult to go with a default setup around this circuit.
Yeah, it really is. Just a little graphic popped up there that suggests the soft tyre strategy. Soft to medium pitting at 9/10 laps. So we'll have to wait and see if that pays dividends.
I don't think it will.
Yeah, it'll be a tough send, but I've seen people go medium to soft and soft to medium over the course of this weekend.
I think if anyone will try it, it will be potentially Cloud if he can take the softs long enough, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cookie goes for it. Definitely. We saw at the Tier 2 race last season, the race got interrupted partway through for a safety car, and most people went medium to hard because it was a bit too early to put on a set of softs if you were on the medium tyres. There was one certain idiot, I can't remember who it was, but it might have been myself, that went medium and did a 2-stop, and that did not work. So the 2-stop only seems to work around here if there are multiple safety cars, really. The 1-stop is definitely the way to go around this circuit, and that's just purely because there aren't enough laps to catch back up to people.
Yeah, for sure. We've got Mallard dipping in the pits. Let's just take a quick look here. Yeah, a new front wing going on that Aston Martin as Cookie takes the lead of the race down the Kemmel Straight then. As we move into turns 4, 5 and 6, or 5, 6 and 7, beg your pardon. It's Cookie followed by Cloud, Ritzy, Supply Raptor, Parallel Harry, Alpines flying in formation in P4 and 5. It's then Stan, Ultra Titan, Jason Gordon and Jaden Lomax with Arrow making up the top 10.
Yeah, this top 5 really sticking together well. Parallel Harry has impressed me in the early stages of this race because his qualifying pace is always brilliant, but in the races he sometimes drops back a few positions, but so far really doing well and hanging with this top 5 group. The move for Cookie and Cloud, we saw it a minute ago. It was just a very simple DRS overtake down the Kemmel Straight, and I'm sure we're going to see lots of those there today. But the top 2 seemingly trying to get away from this group. You see there, the gap up to 0.6 of a second now.
Yeah, gap's growing ever so steadily. But again, with Ritzy's pace and obviously Supply Raptor in hot pursuit, as he looks like he might try and make some kind of switchback move through the bus stop chicane here. Supply Raptor and Ritzy pretty tight. Only 0.6 then to the back of the Mercedes. So still pretty close. We've got problems. It's Jaden Lomax and Arrow both diving into the pits then. P14 and 15 now. 5-second penalty for Jaden as well for speeding in the pit lane. Big mistake from the Williams driver. And he's retired.
And that's him gone, yeah. I was going to say those are definitely earlier pit stops than you want to make on the mediums, but that means everyone that finishes now will score points, and his Cloud go for the move for the lead. He goes straight up the inside. There's contact with Cookie, who has to kill it. Jesus words. He has to cut the chicane there, and he's down into third place. Ritzy benefiting from that one massively, but Cloud sent it down the inside. It seemed like he lost the rear end slightly, and that tapped into Cookie, and he just basically had to cut the corner to avoid further contacts. But Yeah, the Mercedes now in the lead of this race, but has the Alfa Romeo of Rizzi all over the back of him as well.
Yeah, so that gap that was beginning to grow swiftly swallowed up down the Camel Straight then and into turns 5, 6 and 7. Interesting that Supply Raptor still hanging on the back of these front three, getting very close to the back of Cookie now as he goes to take the right-hand turn to go down Blanchimont. Long run down to the bus
perhaps
stop.
A little bit flustered here after the drama there at the end of the Camel Straight that literally took my ability to make simple sentences. There was that much going on, but Cookie and Rizzi almost going side by side into the bus stop chicane there. That would have been an audacious move from the Alfa Romeo. Has to stay behind for the time being, and that has allowed Cookie to close right up. And is he going to go for a move into turn 1? He stays behind for the time being. You actually saw him there, I think, close the DRS a little bit earlier just to make sure he stayed behind. But here is the big one, because going down the Camel Straight this time, there are a lot of people right nose to tail. I think Cloud might lose a few positions here.
Yeah, top 5 cars all in contention then as Rizzi takes the lead from Rizzi takes the lead from Cloud, but then Cookie also goes through. So it's Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, Mercedes then. As we get through to the last place, we had a little bit of contact. They get it through there clean this time, though, on that run down to Rivage. 5 cars within spitting distance of each other, battling it out for not just podium spots, but also for the win on this race. Great start from these 5 guys, real consistent. Ultra Titan currently sat in 6th on those hard tyres. He's only 2.2 seconds back. So as much as he's lost DRS and he's going to be under pressure from Stan on the soft tyres, he's still in a pretty good position, I think, there, GB.
Yeah, he's had a good start here, actually. I think this might be about the time where the hard tyres are roughly going the same pace as the softs here, because he had been overtaken by Stan. The gap was about 1.5 seconds at one point to parallel Harry, but then the Alfa Romeo and the Aston Martin did battle down the Camel Straight, and it cost them about a second. But you can see there, Titan is closing back up slowly, and it is Harry on the softs ahead of him. So it'll be interesting to see how that gap comes down. Of course, the top 5 are still fighting, and you can see Cookie is very close to the back of Rizzi there. The gap going down to mere hundredths of a second at one point there. But yeah, Titan definitely not to be ruled out yet. On the hard tyres, I fully expect him to go long and go onto the soft tyres, or if there's a safety car, hit when that comes out.
Yeah, and that 2.4 second gap, or 2.2 second gap, is now down below 2 seconds. He's at 1.8. So maybe we are beginning to see that hard tyre come into its own. He is going to be under pressure, I would have thought, but that's Rizzi losing the lead of the race to Cookie down the Camel Straight. We're going to see that a lot. I think we're going to see that pretty much every lap while there's cars within DRS range, GB, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Rizzi at the moment,
Rizzi, huge mistake!
He loses the rear end there.
Huge mistake.
Save that is by Rizzi. Wow, well done to the Alfa Romeo. That is incredible car control. But I was about to say, his race is mainly with Cookie, and I think Cookie is absolutely pushing here at the moment. I won't be surprised if he's just dumped a load of battery, because he's got that gap over a second, and that might be the crucial moment that the Red Bull needed to get himself away from this pack. But yeah, for Rizzi, he's on the same strategy as Cookie at the moment. They're both on medium tyres, as I think there was another tank slapper there for the Alfa Romeo I might have seen in the background as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That mistake from Rizzi really has just opened the door for Cookie to drive through and get himself down the road. That gap up to 1.6 seconds already as he heads down Blanchimont then through the long left continuous left-hander into that bus stop chicane for the 6th time of the evening so far. Rizzi then 1.8 seconds off the back now. Yep, losing time. He's going to be under pressure from Cloud. Cloud's going to need to try and work with Rizzi now. Otherwise, what we're going to end up seeing is Cookie just extend that lead. So they're going to have to drag each other along with DRS and no doubt take Supply Raptor and Parallel Harry with them, the 2 Alpines, over the course of the next few laps to try and close that gap back down.
Yeah, they can't battle too hard here, otherwise they will lose too much time, and I think Ritzy knows that already. He's sticking to the left-hand side, lets the Mercedes go through into second place, and that is very simple. Then he'll tuck in the slipstream, and it will keep the Alpines behind them, and that's very smartly done by the men in P2 and P3. And look at the gap now to Cookie, down to 1.3, 1.4 roughly seconds, so they've gained a few tenths of a second by doing that, and it worked almost perfectly. They just have to keep with him for the rest of the lap. Cookie used a lot of battery, it's fair to say, in that last lap to get away from Ritzy. I was looking at the steering wheels of all the drivers, and Cookie definitely has the least of this top 5. The Alpines, it's worth noting, are looking very healthy on the battery side, so maybe those guys aren't pushing it to the full extent just yet.
Yeah, battery management is a key factor around this circuit. With that long drag up Kemmel Straight, and of course down Blanchimont as well, people do tend to get a little bit eager with their battery and burn it. If you save it for the last 4 laps, you're in great shape if you've managed to keep yourself in contention by utilising DRS like the 2 Alpines are doing, GB. You're absolutely spot on.
Yeah, but it's worth noting as well, the gap at the front, again, up to 1.8 seconds. Cookie is still burning that battery, though. He has used a bit more on this lap, so it's tough to tell how much of it is tyre performance and how much of it is using that ERS up for the Red Bull. But Cloud goes a little bit deep into turn 1 there. I fully expect we'll see another swap for positions between Ritzy and Cloud. It's just whether the Alpines can get themselves involved in this. Ritzy all over the back of Cloud as he rides up through the hill and through Radion, and he gets the move done practically before they even reach the DRS line. Is Cloud going to lose a position to the Alpine though behind? Supply Raptor in the slipstream? No, he's not close enough, stays behind for the time being. And I think this is the game the Alpines are playing at the moment. They're quite happy with the position they're in. I think Cookie might already be gone by this point. It might take a mistake from the Red Bull to catch him. But the Alpines just saving up the battery. Stay in this group, you're in the battle for second at the moment, and harvest your battery.
Yeah, for sure. They look very similar when it comes to battery management, don't they? And actually, Ritzy looks like he's in pretty good shape as well. Looks like he's got at least 2/3 of his battery left, looking at the steering wheel, which is a lot more compared to the people around him. But yeah, Alpine in great shape. We are beginning to see some penalties. So let's just take a quick look at the penalties. 3 seconds for Stan, 3 seconds for Division, and now 6 seconds for Charisma. So the AlphaTauri is not having a great time of it this evening with regards to track limits. Tyre situation, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on that soft tyre now on their 7th lap. We will be seeing some pit stop action in the not too distant future. Let's just jump on with Cloud then. Is he going to go in yet? No, doesn't go in yet. So going to go and do an 8th lap.
Yeah, I think this might be the game that Ritzy's perhaps playing. That 2.2 second gap to Cookie, but with lots more battery, could allow him maybe to go for the undercut and really push on his outlap and get back ahead of the Red Bull and probably still have a bit of battery to play with. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the game that the Alfa Romeo is playing, and likewise the 2 Alpines as well. They know that if they go for an undercut on these guys, they could probably get out ahead of them as well. What Alpine have to be careful of is that they don't follow the exact same strategy as each other and come in at the same time or ruin each other's races. As Cloud cuts across the corner there. I don't know if he missed the braking zone or what happened there.
Parallel Harry got real out of shape, very similar to what Ritzy did a couple of laps ago. Really got some banging oversteer, back end snapped out, but he's managed to control it and not lost a great deal of time to his teammate Supply Raptor. So another great
you've got to
save.
remember, while they're in this crowd, it's going to be causing the tyres to overheat slightly, being so close behind the people ahead of them. It's not going to help them out in the dirty air either. But yeah, big moment for Parallel Harry there. Controlled it well, but that gap at the front now, 2.2 seconds, it has stabilised over the last few laps. It hasn't really been growing whatsoever, and looking at Cookie's battery, it hasn't really been saving it up that much either. It's still roughly what it was before. He saved a little bit, of course, but his battery level's certainly a lot lower than the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, for sure. And again, this now we got into that little what I suppose classify as quite a dull section of the race here for the next few laps. I'm pretty sure the Alpines will be challenging Cloud, because Cloud's now dropped out of DRS from Ritzy. As we've got our first pitter on the soft tyre, it's going to be Stan in the pits then, currently sat in P8. He's going to get rid of the soft tyres. I would imagine he's probably going to try and throw some medium tyres on to take them 12 laps, GB.
Yep, he is throwing on a set of the yellow wall mediums, and we've also got Billy and Penguin coming into the pits behind him in the Haas as well. He is also on the soft tyres, so we'll wait and see what he straps on, and yet again it is a set of the yellow wall mediums. So both of them going for similar strategies. In the meantime, we've seen Supply Raptor get himself up into third place as Ritzy picks up a 3-second time penalty. That might be crucial in this race.
Yeah, big penalty that one for Ritzy. Not ideal then on lap 10 of 22 here at Spa-Francorchamps for Division 1 WHF Formula 1 on a Sunday night with my good friend GB. We've seen some good racing so far, some good driving from the top, certainly from the top 5 guys. Again, we've got a bunch of hard runners now in Ultra Titan, Jason Gordon, Ollie J, and Skiffy from P6 down to P9, with Charisma on a set of 9-lap old mediums as well. Cloud and Parallel Harry then, GB. When are we expecting those guys to dip in? Are we expecting them to dip in on lap 10?
I fully am expecting at least one of them to come in this lap. I think if Cloud doesn't, Harry will. If Cloud comes in, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if Harry just follows him in, but we'll wait and see, and indeed they do, so they try and go 12 laps on a set of mediums here, which gives us some indication as well when we think we'll see the guys currently on mediums coming in. The person that I am interested to see how he plays it is Ultra Titan in this race. He's coming under pressure from JG at the moment, forces him to the outside through La Source, and holds on to what is now P4 for the time being as they head down towards Eau Rouge. The Ferrari here, I reckon, will be using that DRS and trying to get past him if he can. They're both on 10-lap old hard tyres. And we'll wait and see what happens here. But here comes the Ferrari down the Kemmel Straight. Titan does go defensive, but the move is done before the braking zone, and that's the Ferrari up into P4.
Yeah, good move that from Jason. Got it done nice and easy, and good work from Ultra Titan as well. Not trying to fight it too crazily. We do know that as we are rapidly approaching the 50% distance of this race, that patience is an absolute virtue when it comes to Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah, one person who is certainly not being patient at the moment is Cloud. He has got out the pits on the medium tyres, has caught up to Ollie ridiculously fast and gone, "Excuse me, mate, I would quite like your position." Gets through, I think it was on the exit of Lecom, I think it was, he got through there, and up into P6, so very nicely done. Went alongside, coming out Lecom, made the move down into Rivage, and he's up in 6th place, 10 seconds behind Ultra Titan. I'll keep an eye on the gap to leader at the moment. It's currently standing at 21 seconds and is coming down quickly. So this next couple of laps absolutely crucial for that Mercedes if he wants to be anywhere near Cookie when he makes his pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely. I would imagine that it's 21 and a half seconds in terms of the time you lose in the pit lane. So the undercut then. The undercut from the Mercedes of Cloud, trying to drag that down as Parallel Harry, also on the fresher medium compound tyre, gets past the Red Bull of Ollie J. Ollie J hanging on for dear life onto the back of that Alpine now. But here is Cloud. Cloud within only 9.4 seconds. Hasn't taken a great chunk of time out of Ultra Titan, but Ritzy does lose some time to Supply Raptor, who moves up into P2. 3.7 seconds the gap now between Cookie and his nearest challenger, which is Supply Raptor again.
That gap has come up a little bit over the last few laps. Cookie seemingly holding on to the tyres a little bit better here, but like we say, if one of these goes for the undercut, it is lap 12, so we're expecting to see the medium runners in sooner rather than later. If Cookie doesn't hit this lap, fully expecting at least one of Raptor and Ritzy to go for the undercut on the Red Bull, but by this point, perhaps a little bit too much to make it work. 4 seconds is a lot of time to gain by doing an undercut. It is worth noting though, Cloud, the gap now to Cookie, 19.5 seconds, still steadily coming down. So I think Cloud will be in with a real shot of jumping the Red Bull here. It's just saying how much can he hold up that Red Bull on fresh soft tyres, the man who's leading the championship versus the man in second place. That's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. The gap now down to 18.8, and Cookie stays out, as do second and third. Little bit surprised about that one.
Yeah, for sure. I was expecting at least one of the two cars to dip in as Ultra Titan now comes into the pits, pitting from the hard tyre. He's had enough of those. He's going to get rid of those and throw himself some soft tyres on, no doubt about that. But yeah, Cloud, 18.5 seconds off our leader. Ritzy and yeah, I'm surprised about Ritzy and Supply Raptor not pitting, as they do look like they're going to change positions down the Camel Straight yet again, as they do. Ritzy takes up the mantle this time, 3.7 seconds. The gap not growing to Cookie, still 3 seconds plus.
Yeah, interesting move from the Alfa Romeo Horse Titan. He's been into the pits, but straps on a set of the medium tyres instead, so perhaps not confident in that tyre life of the softs. I mean, we did see them sort of fall off a cliff the last few laps where Cloud and Paolo Harry both lost positions to Raptor and Ritzy, and then were sort of dropping off the back of them. So maybe not confident in the soft tyres abilities, or maybe hoping for a late safety car to be able to throw on a fresh set of softs, but Titan out in 8th place now, which is roughly a net P6 once everyone's made their pit stops. But yeah, definitely an interesting call from the Alfa Romeo, and I think JG, who ended up staying out on those hard tyres, will probably do the opposite and go for the softs.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That would be my best guess for JG in the Ferrari. I'm absolutely convinced we're going to see one, if not two, of the front three cars dip into the pits this lap. That would make
I'm
sense
keeping
to me.
an eye on Cloud at the moment.
Here comes Cookie. Cookie into the pit lane then. Clips the wall on his way in. Interesting. Ritzy also into the pit lane and Supply Raptor. So not just two of the three, all three. So Cloud, where is he, GB?
He is coming into the bus stop chicane, and the gap was 16.5 seconds roughly when Cookie came into the pit lane. So as I say, I fully expect Cloud is going to be there or thereabouts with the Red Bull. And he comes into turn one. Cloud, where is Cookie on the pit exit? The camera angle I'm seeing is awful to see. There is Cookie coming out the pit lane. Cloud takes the race lead, but of course he now has 3 people on soft tyres chasing him down. Interestingly, Paolo Harry, who also took the undercut by going for the softs in the first stint, now up into 3rd place, and with a 2.5 second gap roughly back to Ritzy. So very interesting move from the Alpine by doing that alternate strategy. He now has that lead over the Alfa Romeo, who also has a 3-second time penalty. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out as the race goes on.
Yeah, he seems to have taken the mantle from his teammate there, Supply Raptor. What tyre is Supply Raptor on? Is he on the softs? Yeah, so Supply Raptor on the softs then. 4 tenths behind Ritzy.
It's also worth noting the Ferrari of JG, after saying that I thought he'd go for the softs with only 9 laps to go, he's also gone for the mediums. And now, because Titan pit the lap before, he finds himself over 2 seconds behind the Alfa Romeo. So definitely an interesting call from the Ferrari, but with a lap fresher tyres, maybe towards the end of the race it will come into his favour. But yeah, that Ferrari is really going to have to push now if he wants to get P7. Stan is still out on 4 lap old mediums at the moment. I don't expect him to pit again, but perhaps he will come under a bit of pressure later on in the race as well, with having much older tyres on.
Yeah, we've got some considerable gaps throughout the course of the field. Now, the only one where we've not got gaps is between Cookie and Cloud, of course, for the lead of the race, which I'm pretty sure as we get down to turn 1, there'll be a change. And there we go. In we go. Utilising the DRS down the home straight, Cookie does indeed take the lead of the race from Cloud. Now, Cloud is going to have DRS down the Camel straight. How's he going to make these medium tyres work then down that straight and into some of these tighter turns? I would imagine that he's going to try and make a move. No, decides against it. Backs out. Wise choice that.
But he spooked Cookie a little bit there. Cookie missed the apex by a fair bit into Lecum at the end of the Camel straight there. So I think Cloud was hoping that would have gone a little bit better than it did, because he seemed to not really put up any sort of fight to Cookie going into turn 1. He almost waved him through and laid out the velvet carpet for him. But yeah, I think he was hoping to maybe have got back ahead with the DRS. He was dumping a little bit of battery down the Camel straight, and it has not worked out. And he already finds himself outside of DRS as we come towards the end of Sector 2. So I think, unless there's a mistake from our race leader, that might be game, set, and match for the Red Bull.
Yeah, it looks it, doesn't it? The grip on those soft tyres, there is a discernible difference. And just as we say, that Supply Raptor goes round and takes P4 from his teammate Parallel Harry. So Supply Raptor,
a little bit of team orders there.
Ritzy. I would have thought so, mate. Yeah, it's an odd place to make a pass.
I was watching that, and Paolo Harry pulled over to the right-hand side just before turn 16 and waved his teammate through. He knows his teammate on soft tyres, the same as Ritzy, and he'll just try and stay with him for as long as he can. He knows that if he can stick within that DRS of his teammates, who will then stick with Ritzy in turn, then he will stay within the 3-second penalty that the Alfa Romeo has. Smart move by Paolo Harry, but now the challenge for him is, can you stay with your teammate who is on much quicker tyres?
And I imagine Supply Raptor will have his sights set not just on the back of Ritzy, but on that gap for... I managed to get rid of the settings.
There you go, River.
Go.
The gap to Cloud, which is about 4 seconds at the moment, and I think you're absolutely right. So he's on much quicker tyres, but he only has 6 laps to do it. So realistically, if he wants to catch and get the move done in time, I think he's going to need to catch him by about a second a lap.
Yeah, well, it's already down to 3.5 seconds, that gap, because Ritzy's closing in on the back of Cloud as well. So that gap is below 3 seconds itself. So as it stands then, lap 16 of 22 here in Belgium, it's Cookie in the Red Bull, leading the race by 2.7 seconds from the Mercedes of Cloud. Cloud then leading from BRL Ritzy, who does have a 3-second penalty in the Alfa Romeo. Down in 3rd place, it's 4th, it's Supply Raptor. He's going to be pushing not just for a podium, but possibly for the 2nd step. Parallel Harry will get dragged along, but that gap now, 1.9 seconds to his teammate. That hasn't worked for him. He's got to let his teammate go, though. His teammate's pushing for more points. Stan then, 6-lap-old medium tyres. He's 7 seconds off the back now of the Alpine of Parallel Harry, and he's going to be coming under pressure, no doubt, from a slightly younger set of medium tyres that are on the Alfa Romeo of Ultra Titan. JG's going to be in contention as well for that top 7, top 6, even though he's got a penalty. Big gap then to Billion Penguin, who's coming under severe pressure from the Red Bull of Ollie J. And we might see a little bit of a change there soon as well. Perhaps down into turn 1. A great run out of the final corner by Ollie J. He's going to go down round, try and go around the outside, is he? Late on the brakes, perhaps? Or is he going to try and switch back? Going to try the switch back and try and get a run down towards Eau Rouge. Maybe, mate. He's probably just going to hold back, isn't he, rather than make a move up through Radion, although they are side by side. I mean, he does dip back in. So, yeah, he's going to hold on. He's going to hold fire. Let's just jump on Supply Raptor real quick. He's 2/10 off the back of Ritzy now. And that gap between Ritzy and Cloud, under 2 seconds, 1.6 seconds. Ollie J does indeed make a pass on Billy and Penguin in P9.
And yeah, then he's also going to have the McLaren of Skeefy behind him as well. Skeefy, one of 3 reserves tonight, along with the 2 Alpha Tauris of Charisma and Division. And, well, so far he is doing a very good job. And in fact, actually, I should also mention Stan is also a reserve, in the Aston Martin. So 4 reserves tonight. But, yes, Stan, we mentioned it earlier that he was going to come under pressure from the likes of JG and Ultra Titan. Titan has already got past and built a 1.3 second lead. JG is now cut up to the back of Stan as well. And he's going to go make the move through Blanchemont up the inside and gets it done up into P7.
Yeah, good move that from JG. Good work from him. He will drag Stan along through the start-finish straight, of course, with DRS. However, I'm going to jump back on with Supply Raptor. That gap between Supply Raptor and Cloud now less than 1.4 seconds, 1.5 seconds, beg your pardon, as they go up through Radion onto the Camel Straight once more for the 18th time tonight. Supply Raptor then 4/10 off the back. DRS wing wide open. Is he going to make a move? He's going to try and go around the outside. Is he? No. Decides to back out sensibly. I don't think he was quite close enough. He's just happy for Ritzy to drag him along and get him closer to the back of the Mercedes of Cloud.
Yeah, this is going to become a 3-way fight very quickly, I think. Raptor does have slightly more battery than the Alfa Romeo at the moment. Cloud in P2, you can't really see it with his helmet in the way, unfortunately, from my camera angle, but it doesn't look like he has all that much battery left either. So, Supply Raptor, you have to say, probably the man in with the most advantage at the moment out of this scrap for second place. Parallel Harry has now fallen off the back of this, and he'll just be looking after his tyres. Maybe hoping for another penalty for Ritzy that might pull him a little bit closer, but yeah, for now, Alpine just needs to keep it clean, and as it stands, he'll be on for his best finish of the season.
Yeah, it's a good day so far for Alpine, isn't it? I think sitting in P4 and P5 quite comfortably, with the potential for P2 and P5.
Yeah, no, it's also worth noting this battle over 6th place is not over either. Ultra Titan has been caught at a rate of knots by the Scuderia of JG. He is now just under 3/10 of a second behind him as they come out the bus stop chicane. And he's dragged Stan with him as well. Stan is clinging on for dear life to the back of this battle on the older mediums. And, well, he's stuck with them at the moment, and Titan VJG may do battle down the Camel Straight this time around.
Yeah,
as we see
like
Raptor.
Raptor does get past him, yeah. Raptor past Ritzy then. Look
Yeah,
how
Raptor
close they
using
are.
the DRS, yeah.
Look how close they are to the back of the Mercedes now.
I think, again, a bit of strategy from the two of them there. Raptor and Ritzy do know each other quite well through BRL, and I think Ritzy just waving the Alpine through because he knows that he has the pace to catch Cloud, and he'll just pull him along with him inside the DRS.
Yeah, for sure. JG did indeed get past Ultra Titan on the Camel Straight then as they go down through Rivage. But with penalties all around him, Ultra Titan, who started off on the hard compound tyre, just has to stick now to the back of that Ferrari. Wasn't able to do too much in terms of defending it, but just wants to stick to the back now. That'll pick him up P6, and that'll be a good day for the Alfa Romeos as well.
Yeah, Stan has been dropped now. He's out of DRS, 1.1 seconds behind, so I think his day now may just be keep it clean, keep it facing the right direction, and hope for maybe some mistakes up ahead. I think we're going to be too late in the race for any safety car interventions, which I'm not sure if it's the first time this season we've had a race without a single safety car, but it is a rare occurrence in F1 League racing. So very nice to see.
We've not even had a virtual.
Yeah, exactly. We've done. Drivers have done themselves very proud tonight. Only 2 retirements, but we heard from both Luxury and Jaden Lomax that they both had.
What a move that is from Supply Raptor. Just flicked it right. He isn't going to have DRS though now on the Camel Straight, so we'll see if Cloud can fight back. He's only 1/10 off the back, right on the rear wing. Not bothering getting a slipstream. Pulls out over to the left-hand side, gets the supply. Gets the supply. Gets the
gets the supply of slipstream. Did Ritzy just slide his way through that corner? I couldn't tell from my camera angle, but it looked for a second like the Alfa Romeo just Tokyo drifted his way through turn 7 at the end of the Camel Straight there, but perhaps not, because he has kept with this group. Supply Raptor did hold on to the position. Cloud now down to 3rd place, but I think that's going to be the best that Raptor can hope for today. 5 seconds near enough off the back of our race leader, Cookie. And once again, we have not seen much of Cookie in this race. He has been very comfortable towards the front, and, well, 4.9 second lead for the Red Bull at the moment. It's certainly reminds you of someone else we all know about in the Red Bull this season, and last season for that matter as well. Cookie, our very own Max Verstappen.
Yeah, he's having a meticulous race so far. He's been pretty much pitch perfect from start to finish so far in terms of both the way he's driven and, of course, the strategy, dipping onto those soft tyres midway through the race. 4.9 second gap. He's about to start the penultimate lap of the race then, with Supply Raptor 4.9 seconds behind Cloud and Ritzy still in contention.
Oh, JG's gone for the lunge into the bus stop chicane. Oh my, that was an almost brilliant move from the Ferrari. Launched it down the inside of Titan, stayed behind in the end. Did he get DRS? He did, so he was still behind at the detection point, but I thought for a moment we were going to see contact between the two Italian-based teams there, but not this time around. JG wanting to try and get past Titan, perhaps wanting to try and scare the Alfa Romeo into a mistake that may give him a penalty, but for the time being, what a beautiful camera angle. I just saw coming over the top of Radion there, and
Cloud.
down the Camel Straight.
Cloud with the 5-second penalty. Don't know what he's got that for.
Sure, well, I'm almost certain Cloud will be streaming this, so we'll be able to look back on a replay on the highlights later on, but yeah, I'm not sure what he got that for. I'm sure if that's one that needs removing, the stewards will look into that, but that could cost him actually in the long run. If Parallel Harry can really push in these last couple of laps, he is only 6 seconds behind Ritzy, so it's only 6.5 seconds to Cloud. He could maybe get close enough to get past once that penalty is applied.
Well, Parallel will also be able to see that on his in-game management. He'll be able to see that there's a 5-second penalty for that Mercedes. So if anything's going to encourage Parallel Harry, who may well have just been kind of cruising for the last few laps, if anything's going to encourage him, it will be the sight of a 5-second penalty next to the Mercedes.
Yeah, but for the time being, at least, nothing doing in terms of closing the gap. It's now up to 6.1 seconds. Make that 6.2 to the Alfa Romeo ahead of him. So I think it may be too little, too late for the Alpine. Meanwhile, JG is up into 6th place, of course, has that penalty, so it is a net P7. And I think Titan recognises that he has a penalty on the driver ahead of him. He doesn't need to make this move, and he'll just stay behind him for the time being.
Yeah, interesting. We'll see how that develops as he has DRS going up the Camel Straight. See if he can resist the temptation to make a late move, as Cloud actually does take P2 down the Camel Straight from Supply Raptor.
About to say, speaking of late moves, Cloud makes that move, and that could be crucial, because if that 5-second penalty is taken off by the stewards, that is an actual P2 on the track as well. This is an on-track battle between the two of them. And I wonder if we've seen the end of this yet. Ritzy seems to have dropped off 1.2 seconds behind, so it's these two fighting over 2nd place. There's also battle.
And there, Cloud picks up a legitimate 3-second penalty as he drifts off through Pouillon.
Yeah, that will be the end of Cloud's hopes of P2 unless Raptor picks up a penalty himself over the course of the rest of this lap. He runs wide there, almost into the gravel trap through Stavolo, but keeps the car going in a straight line. He has dropped back a little bit now, but he knows that Cloud has a legitimate 3-second penalty to be added on. He doesn't need to make this move, and he will stay behind. But coming into the final corner now is the man in the Red Bull. We said it before, we say it again. Cookie is inevitable. He wins again here in Belgium, makes it 5 wins for the season. Across the line, there's a big pile up between them as they come across the line. Raptor crosses the line and gets P2. Ritzy up to 3rd. Harry up to 4th for the time being. If that 5-second penalty for Cloud is taken off, that will be P4 for Cloud, P5 for Harry. Titan crosses the line in 6th, just ahead of JG in the end. With Stan in 8th, it'll be Ollie in the bus stop chicane at the moment. He will cross the line in P9, but will he remain P9? We'll wait and see. It's saying Raptor is going further and further down the field. He won't be. He will still be P2. So Ollie crosses the line in what will be P10. Skeefy, beats him by 1/10 of a second after the penalties are applied.
Yeah, interesting finish towards the end of the race. That'd be interesting actually to see where Supply Raptor crashed.
It is past the line where his car's finished.
Okay.
I am assuming he crossed the line because it did say on there that he had crossed in 2nd place. I think it's because he's since left the session that's dropped him down. We will double check that, but yeah, we believe that will be a P2.
Yeah, Arrow just doing a little bit of sliding through some final corners. I think you might have a puncher, actually. Has he got a puncher on that rear right?
Yeah, the right rear. Definitely not as inflated as it should be. So how old are his tyres at this point? 17 lap old mediums. No wonder they've punctured. That is a Ferrari master plan, if ever I've seen one. 17 laps on the medium tyres. Oh my, keep it in a straight line, Arrow, please. You're going to get a point, if nothing else. And he will...
Around he goes.
Around he goes. The Ferrari there in the final corner. Slides it across. Don't do a donut at the finish line, Arrow, because you might bin it into the wall. He has done, but he will get P16. That the tyre has come off, but not the punctured one. And he will get P16 in the end because of that weird glitch for Raptor. And yeah, an eventful day, I think, for that Ferrari in particular.
Yeah, very much an eventful day for all involved. But there we go. We see yet again on the top step of the podium here at Spa-Francorchamps, it's the Red Bull, and it's Cookie that claims the victory. The championship leader extends his lead, taking another imperious drive from start to finish through to the checkered flag. In P2, it's Supply Raptor in the Alpine, and then P3, I believe...
it should be whoever's P2 on the podium at the moment. Yes, I want to say... No, Ritzy, sorry. P3.
Ritzy, there we go. Yeah, so it will be Cookie, followed by Supply Raptor, and then Ritzy on the podium. So, good result. Let me just scroll through and make sure I capture those results for everybody.
Yeah, I'm just getting the race director. I am getting people in the party as well. I see Ritzy and Raptor have already joined us. I don't believe there's a box for you guys to tick. We'll make sure Cloud as well gets in here. We'll chat to all 4 of our top 5.
Sure. So, Alfa Romeo will be our first vehicle, will it not? Yeah, Alfa Romeo will be Ritzy that we speak to first, followed by followed by Supply Raptor, and then Cookie. Right, let's get ourselves into position.
Yeah, anyone else we can grab? The party's open. People might just start joining anyway. But in the meantime, we will start off by talking to the man who grabs third place. Although I saw you say to me, Ritzy, that apparently Cloud is third. What happened for him to get his 5-second penalty? Did you see that one?
I think I saw it because I was the one who caused it. So like, I kind of forgot to turn into the corner in a reasonable amount of time, and he just went off the track.
Rincy moments.
Yeah. It's the flag was like right in front of us. I don't know if you witnessed it happen, but yeah, he just went off the track. He got a 5-second, which is on me to be fair. So
that will likely be certainly looked at by the stewards and probably removed. Then, in that case, we'll see if Cloud joins. But for the time being, at least, you are P3 for now, Rich. So you might become P4. Just talk us through that race, because at first it looked like you were sticking with Cookie, and then it seemed like you lost the rear end a few times in the space of a lap, and he just got away from you and was never able to catch back up.
yeah, so I just went into absolute shambles when Cookie overtook me after how to drive. To be fair, this is like the second decrease I've done in a month's time, so I recovered a bit better toward the end of the stint, and then I don't know, the softs just didn't light up as much as I hoped to in the end, but you know, it was still fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the solid performance yet again from yourself, and as you say, you haven't raced for a little while. It's been a couple of races, but you're on a good run of form in those that you have made, a couple of P4s and a couple of podiums. Next race for Tier 1, I'm not sure if you're making it, but if you are, it's Bahrain. Is that a circuit you feel you could get a good result at?
I think if I do end up showing up, like you said, it's one of my, not like strongest, but definitely one of my favorable tracks. So yeah, we'll see next week how it goes. I doubt I'm going to show up, but we'll see. And then shout out to Ani as well, because they're the only reason I was competitive this race. I was going to start P20, but you know, that didn't end up happening.
Yeah, I was certainly glad it didn't. You ended up at the front and in a brilliant battle for the win in the end at one point, and back and forth between all of you. Another man in that battle was, of course, Raptor. You in the Alpine here today, and well, it looks like it's going to be P2 overall for you. The game did a weird glitch at the end where it sort of drops you down the order after you binned it across the line. But P2 today.
Our question on purpose.
we assumed you did, but the game didn't like it whatsoever. But yeah, talk us through your race, because it seemed you and Harry worked quite well together there.
Yeah, we just chilling. So that's really it.
You are the Kimi Räikkönen of this party, I swear.
Wow.
Anytime.
No, I'm not.
Anytime we've had you in here, you're a man of many words to describe your race. What about yourself? Are you thinking you'd be here for Bahrain, and is it a strong track for you?
Yeah, I'll be here next week. I don't think Bahrain is definitely not one of my strongest tracks as pace. Like what she said, we'll see.
And who else do we have in here? Because Cloud and Cookie didn't end up joining, so we've got Titan and Ollie now. Titan, we saw you and JG battling a bit towards the end of the
Finally,
race.
yes.
So just talk us through that. I saw JG absolutely send it on you on the penultimate lap into the bus stop. I can only imagine your reaction to that.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock.
But yeah, just talk us through what happened in your race. Why did you avoid the soft saw race, you and JG?
I thankfully had a race here a few weeks ago and tried medium softs, and it was just not great because the mediums had about 2 seconds less in pace for a while, and then the softs had about 1.5 seconds less pace. But whatever reason that was, I didn't really want to do it. So yeah, I had qualifying. I think I did the best I could, and then started on hards. But if I started on hards, I couldn't get DRS off the top 5, so that pretty much just solidified me in P6 as high as I could go. Yeah, after that, it was just pretty keeping it clean, saving energy, trying to not scrub the tyres too much, and throughout each stint, I noticed that in the chicane, I was struggling to brake more and more. So no clue what that's about, but Stan and JG definitely had an advantage over me in there. So it was a bit surprising that JG dived, but it wasn't that shocking when he when I was able to keep it and go beside him into the first corner. But yeah, I knew I had to get past JG because I was on 2 warnings and I felt like I might get one on the last lap, so I wasn't going to risk it. And in fact, I did. So yeah, it was pretty nice and clean, and nice to finally have a battle with JG after some tech issues from him.
Yes, it's nice to not see a Ferrari cutting an entire sector because his wheel has disconnected. That makes
Yes.
a very nice change. Ollie, you're also in here. Good recovery from you in the end. After, I'm sure you probably weren't best pleased with your qualifying, but you gained quite a few places there in that race. If he's here.
Hello.
Ollie!
Oh, is it me? Oh, it's my time? Oh.
Yes, your name is Ollie.
Yes, you're Ollie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
What was I talking
me.
about? What? There's not much
Race.
to talk about, to be honest.
How
Racist? Oh, wait,
No.
Oh.
You're
No.
racist.
No, we are streaming, Ollie.
Okay, cool. Yeah, race. Qualifying, bad. Race, mid. There you go. No, for real though, it was. I mean, I got on a bit later tonight, so I didn't have a chance to practice. So my setup was not really that good. So I was a lot slower than I would have liked to have been. I think I was qualified 16th, which was pretty bad. But yeah, the race was just about trying to keep it on track, and thankfully I did. And you know, I think I'll be 10th because I think Skeefy just got me at the end with my 3-second penalty. But, I mean, I'll still take a 10th, even though my setup was shite. So yeah, and so yeah, that was that, and yeah, bad.
Still a solid recovery though to go from penultimate row to top 10. I didn't actually ask you time, so I asked you both at the same time. Bahrain for you two. I don't know what it's like for either of you, but how are you feeling going into that one?
I think I'll be in another P6.
You are
I'll beat you.
P6 for life, mate.
I don't get another podium.
What about you, Ollie? Is Bahrain a track you particularly like?
Bahrain's one of those tracks that whenever I drive it, I'm always got like a really good rhythm, but I'm just not fast. So I mean, I don't know. Only time will tell until next week, and then we'll see.
Yes. And Mallard, you jumped in here as well. So
No, we
hello
don't need
you. Oh,
GB,
Titan.
GB, I am just about to start yet another race myself.
That is a very quiet Andy I hear in the background.
I think he's saying he has to go soon.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just had an invite for the next race.
Call it, mate, then. Call it.
Listen, thank you so much. And do you know what? What a great race to watch. Red Bull domination from Cookie. Yet again, the championship leader extends his lead here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's been a fantastic race with some good passes, of course, down the Camel Straight, round Rivage, and down towards Blanchimont. We head next time out to Bahrain, the Sakhir circuit, where we see lots of thrills and spills and hopefully some more superb racing. Thank you so much to everybody. GB, thank you so much to you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure joining you as always.
As always, it's great to be back, my friend. And we shall see all you lovely people again next week. Take care, have a great one, and see you soon.